Now this will be the longest um, recording that we have for this particular chapter. And we're looking at number 6, describe and provide an example of at least 5 factors responsible for the loss of biodiversity. And they're listed right here. Number 1 is habitat loss. That's responsible for 85% of extinction of species. Exotic species, 50%. Pollution, 24%. Overexploitation, 17%. And then disease, 3%. Those are the causes of extinction. Let's talk about each one individually. Habitat loss. It occurs in all ecosystems, but we're really concentrating right now on the tropical rainforest and the coral reefs. Habitat fragmentation is a huge problem where the habitats get broken up into smaller pieces that aren't well connected, and so that causes some species to become extinct. You see here those macaws on that salt lick. You see what a nice large number of them there are. However, they are facing habitat loss. Look at the roads that are cut through the forest and how the forest is in patches there. That is causing the fragmentation. You're going to lose a lot of species that way. And when people bring those macaws in, because they catch them and they bring them to pet shops and sell them to us, that is cutting down on their numbers. So all these things affect whether a species becomes extinct or not. Exotic species, these are non-native species. They can migrate in or they can be introduced. Humans also often are responsible for the introduction of that exotic species because we bring them in for, they're pretty flowers or we think they grow well, so we bring them in. Look at kudzu. Kudzu was brought in. It makes a beautiful flower. It smells really good in the spring of the year. But we see it here especially, it takes over, and it's almost impossible to get rid of. Sometimes things are accidentally transported in, like hydrilla would come in to Lake Eufaula on a lot of boat motors. It would just be on the boat motor because they happened to be in a body of water where there's hydrilla, and they came over here and put their boat in our lake, and suddenly we've got a hydrilla problem that we've got to control. You can see the kudzu there. That's a mongoose over there. It was introduced to control snakes. However, they control the snakes so well, they started eating birds, and so it affected the bird species. So that's not good. Pollution. This is any kind of environmental change that has a bad effect on living things. We're talking about acid deposition, acid rain, eutrophication. If that lake is too nutrient rich, it will cause a big algal bloom, but then that algae will take so much out of the water that other species die. Ozone depletion, we talk about the ozone layer all the time. It will cause problems. Organic chemicals. If you've got a farmer using organic chemicals, fertilizers and pesticides, and it's washing into a body of water, it's going to kill the fish. Global warming is another problem that has an adverse effect. You can see by looking here, global warming on the bottom picture, it causes bleaching of the coral reefs and everything dies. Also, you can see how we've had such an increase in global warming since 1980, and look where they expect it to be by the year 2060. It's going to be way up there. Then overexploitation is another problem where we got individuals taken from a population, and that reduces the numbers there, because the smaller the population is, the more value the members that are left are. That causes poachers and things to go in and try to trap them. Look at the elephants. They want the ivory from the trunks. And so they're bringing down the number of elephants that are remaining. And they're becoming an endangered and threatened species. So all of these things drive overexploitation. Exotic pets, you might want a parrot or something like that. Poaching, and then overfishing, where you know it's a good fishing area, so you just go in, you just keep fishing, fishing, fishing. That's not good. That's not good at all. Look what trawling does. If they use a dragnet, like you see up in the top picture, look what it does, what it leaves behind. Absolutely nothing. So, even though you tell a fisherman you don't need to use the drag nets, do you think they don't? Because they're going to catch all those fish using that drag net up there in that top picture. But look what they're leaving behind.